It's a church. I don't know if that's good or not, but that has to mean I'm near another town, right? That means I'm near another town. There's something jammed against the door from the inside. Fine. Okay. Maybe there's another entrance. This is a little church. Smaller than some houses I've seen, but it's got a little steeple and everything. I'd call it cute under different circumstances. Only one door, though. Come on. You need to get in here. Every place I go has something important. I need to find out what's in this place. And this door will not budge. At this point, I could fit my arm in there. All I can see is part of the wall. Ugh. Don't like sticking my arm in places I can't see. Anything could be in there. Okay. Okay. Here goes nothing. I don't feel anything, just the floor and the door, and that's it. Okay. Leverage. One thing I really like about abandonments is that if you need a piece of lumber, or in this case, a scrap of rebar to pry something with, you're usually going to find it if you look hard enough. Got the door open. The hinges had just rusted shut, I guess. It's actually really pretty in here. There are these little round windows under the eaves, letting light in. And at the front of the church, where sermons are usually made, there's a stained glass window depicting the crucifixion. But with the way the light's hitting it, it's just making the whole place glow gold. And it's warm. It's so warm. It feels so good to be out from the wind. There are about 20 pews in here, and there's still a Bible on the pulpit. Only the thick layer of dust and the fact that I had to pry my way in here tells me that this place isn't in use anymore. Everything is pristine. No graffiti, no leaf litter, no trash. There aren't even really that many spider webs. I know from walking around outside that there's a room off to the edge of the church, probably used by priest or pastor or whatever these guys had. So let's go check that out. Empty. Just an empty room with bookshelves built into the wall. My family was I'm never really religious. But when Cody went missing, my mom and dad went all out. Church every Sunday, Bible study, sermons on the radio. I went with them a couple of times, but it just reeked of desperation. If coming out here is considered my last-ditch effort to find Cody, then going to church was theirs. If I'm honest with myself, I hated it. Not because I'm just so anti-religion. No, I hated it because the whole family was suffering a loss. The loss of my brother. And instead of turning to family for comfort, my parents turned to strangers. Perfect strangers whose comfort from my parents was always, this is God's will, or He has a plan for everyone. They brought my parents food and threw pitying looks around at me or anyone else who happened to be in the house at the time. Hey, no! Damn it! It was one of those things. I know it was. They pulled the door closed and now it's stuck again. Stuck in a church. I'm not half as scared as I would have been even a couple of days ago. Given everything that's happened, I find myself being perpetually more exhausted lately than scared. Of course I'm stuck in a church. Of course I'm stuck in a church. See, I say that, but I know I'll start freaking out if I hear a bunch of whispering coming from outside. It's funny how I've started to defend those hollow things in my own mind. Of course they pulled the door shut. They were always going to do that. Why didn't you bar the door with a piece of wood or bring the rebar in with you? You should have known better. It is nice to be warm for a change, but it's making me lethargic. Just want to keep laying here and never get up again. I think I deserve a nice break after everything I've been through. Oh, look. Some kid got really bored during a church group. They carved all over the pew in front of them. It says, "The mask had fallen from her face, and the book had been set at her feet. I found them at the Blue Angel where the great lady sleeps." The pew in front of that has carving on it too. Shouldn't touch what isn't yours, no matter what it promises. Shouldn't read about places we don't want to go. We leave behind people who miss us. Don't put it on. Don't go home. That's the front row. All of the others are blank. This wasn't some kid who got bored during the church sermon. I said earlier that the church still had a Bible sitting on the pulpit. I was wrong. This isn't a Bible. This If this isn't the book that the guy in the mansion wrote about, then it's something very similar. There was a scrap of paper tucked into it. It says, I thought if I could get this back to the angel, it might let me go. But I wanted to come back to the church first. I thought I might feel better being closer to God. When I got here, I realized my mistake. My lungs feel like they're full of water. I can't seem to get a breath in, and I've been clawing at the mask for so long that the skin of my forehead and along my jaw is a bloody mess. It doesn't come off. I sat here praying for God to help me, but he has turned his back on me. I can't go on anymore. I'm so tired, I just want to go home. Hello, I'm Kate.
Go home, Kate.
I'm trying to. Thank you for opening the door.
Go home.
Okay. I'm going home. Please just let me by.